I'm recording now for this.
You're recording now. I made a kick-ass pasta.
Describe the pasta.
So, I forget what the fucking pasta type it is. You know, the one that's just basically round. You know, not like a fettuccine or something like that. You know, it's round with the hole in it. There's like a bunch of different types of that.
Like the elbow?
Maybe, yeah. It was a cream pasta, but we cooked it with speck, which is just basically a smoked ham, a large cut of it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically pork butt, to be honest. Cut that up into cubes, fried that with chorizo, so it gets all the fat and stuff out in there, and then cook the mushroom and capsicum with that. And because of the large amount of salt content in that speck as well, you don't need to fucking season this pasta at all. And then it's just cream, a little bit of parmesan. We didn't have much, but we got a little bit of parmesan, some spinach, and that's all over the pasta. I'm fucking licking the cream right now. You can hear these sounds. This is me. This is a cooking podcast now.
I made a lot of pasta tonight. One of our more popular dishes is actually this pasta called Cajun chicken pasta. It's like a ham, ham and a spicy cream sauce with Cajun chicken in it, and it's like fettuccine.
Yeah, I could see that going off. I used to make pastas back growing up when it was just like, hey, what's left over in the fridge and what do we have for seasoning? Taco seasoning goes off in a pasta if you've got nothing else.
Broke tips with the podcast.
My local grocery store sells like the boutique grass-fed bison burgers that are like really expensive. So I got those and tried them.
How were they?
Fine, they were burgers.
You don't want to get like good meat in a burger, like or like expensive meat, because it's a fucking burger. You usually cook it so much anyway that it doesn't really matter.
Like, yeah, I mean that's like it. Did it taste different? Not super much. Like, it was fine. It was good. I liked it, but
it's why you don't get like a Wagyu burger, like a proper A5 Wagyu burger.
We sell Wagyu burgers at the new concept.
Yeah, but they're not A5 Wagyu.
No, they're American Wagyu.
Yeah,
but for $10 for the box of 2, so it was like, well,
it's not that expensive.
It was the cheapest one of the things that they had there. Everything else is like, oh, here's something for $20. Here's something for 18. But you know, you gotta live and learn and try things.
Yeah.
What are we covering this week?
Yeah, Dissonant Waves.
Good question.
Music podcast. Ritz, you did a thing again, and you picked an album that was not released yet as of last episode, and is now released. We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever is an album mixtape, something different. ESTRELLITA, It's All Love.
Yeah, ESTRELLITA, It's All Love. Yes.
I chose the new album by Tunng, Love You All Over Again. And Trix, you chose 2 albums by the band Raccoon, self-titled Raccoon and Strange Terrain.
I did. Where should we start this week?
We started with pasta, so
which band is the most like pasta?
You know what? This analogy will work. I feel like we should start with We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever, because they are the most pasta-like, because they're ever-changing and you don't quite know what to expect when you order them.
See, my analogy actually would have been, Trix, that I think they're the most likely out of all the artists to have listened to this podcast for a pasta recipe.
Fair enough.
That works too.
Yeah.
All right. It's All Love.
Yeah. We had a bit of time in recording, so realistically, we didn't actually have less time compared to other weeks to listen to this. ESTRELLITA, It's All Love. It's the mixtape. It's finally out. They had basically been teasing this for near a year now, and I think they've been working on it for that long as well. This is the collab mixtape. It I guess continues on with their more experimental side that they're going on here, which is not making the standard We Will Look Back at You album. And it feels weird to say this is experimental for them when they've always been experimental. But you know, the last project that we listened to, that was them trying a full cover album. Not a standard We Will Look Back at You. It's them having a concept there, and here there's another concept. They've moved into their trap side, and incorporated cloud rap.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones where they've advertised it as this whole oh yeah, this is a out of left field kind of one, but no, it's not. Their sound on their self-titled number 2 had a lot of this trap influence.
Yeah.
So it's not actually that crazy for them to be going into.
And they also imbue some of the songs with enough of like their usual like stuff anyway. That it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is as someone who doesn't like cloud rap, I think this is some of the most interesting cloud rap out there just because it's so actually different.
Yeah.
I feel like this is their most easily recommendable album.
It's their best produced ones so far.
Yeah, the production's getting better. Like it to a point in which like this is actually just good production.
Yeah.
That feels weird to fucking say about them. I gotta go to the thread where I was talking about this with other people, and somebody described it as I rather prefer their shit production. So it does have it's actually got a bit of a divisive reaction by the 5 people who listen to this band.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting.
I can tell you at least 2
it
people.
Is still different.
2 people have bought this, both of us, on Bandcamp.
Yep. Yeah, I think I left a review of this is why my parents limited my TV time as a kid.
Yes. I should say something. What should I say?
I'll go on and say when I say this is like a unique cloud rap, it's not like the whole scene of this kind of underground mumble rap or cloud rap doesn't have more kind of glitchy or hyperpop-esque production in there as well. I know there are a lot of artists in the scene that do have that. So again, it's also not that out of left field for cloud rap, but I don't know. I feel like having these 2 genres kind of merged together puts out for a very interesting concept at its very worst. And personally, for me, it's actually a really enjoyable album.
Yeah.
What are you typing, Dominic?
A clash of genres, an interesting artistic direction. This duo has done did it again.
I hope with all that kind of just like stuttering as well.
Oh, okay, I'll put it in.
Alright, so I guess proper dive into this album now, since there actually is quite a lot to still process about it as well. I think it's not one of those. It's not like a self-titled or a Yabby Time where it was probably a bit more scarier to dive into it just because of how much is going on in those albums. Like we don't have a gug on this record.
We don't have the nuclear countdown on this album.
Yeah, and we don't have fucking SpongeBob YouTube poop.
We do not.
Though we do have if you're driving, crash your car.
Yeah,
yes.
at the very end of this record, which is probably the I guess the wildest moment on this album if we compare to what they usually do on that.
I think shouting out Mao is also up there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like that whole kind of shout out that happens.
Yeah, it's that whole sequence.
Is really the only time I'd say, having listened to this album, where you have that whole kind of standout moment where you go like, wait, what the fuck did they just say? Compared to like, the other albums, or not including the Crywank album, that would be full of those moments where you go like, what the fuck did they just add, or what the fuck did they just say, or.
This is the band that gave us AI Peter Griffin before AI was what AI is now.
Yeah.
And there's callbacks as well to self-titled on this as well. Soberest, which it seems to kind of be a bit of a reprise of Soberer in a way, but mostly just kind of shouts it out. I guess a continuation. So what's sober to Soberer to now Soberest.
Yeah.
There was actually some attempts at kind of melodramatic, emotional moments that happen on this with stuff like fuck if I can know how to pronounce it. Everything I see, but I don't know how to fucking pronounce the first part of that. Joey de Vivre.
Joy de Vivre.
Yeah. Or You Love Me as well.
or not Joy of Life. It's something.
They
Hold
got
up.
some Hatsune Miku on the track, kind of carrying on from their previous release, the one with a Japanese virtual pop star, which we didn't cover.
Mhm.
But
And we have some of those kind of like, I guess, hyperpop moments as well. I'm going to have to describe it as. In fact, this is, whilst it still has that essence of claustrophobia pop in it somewhat, it's their least claustrophobia pop album.
It's more of the that's the dog sound from Undertale, I think. Just those kinds of moments.
And they said, you know, I think they even say in this album that they're putting out an EP, middle of the year that's going to more go back to their sound that they were doing with self-titled on here. But I am very curious to see what they would do in this kind of style further on, because putting them out there as actual like producers instead of just shit posters is it works.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, this album still has the flaws that We Will Look Back at You does, in which sometimes their production gets a bit too fucking, well, what the fuck are they doing?
And,
you know,
some of the rapping is maybe a little bit harder to listen to.
Yeah, you know, there's some of the mumble rapping works, some of it doesn't. That's mumble rap for you. It's personally not a genre that I go out of my way to listen to.
Me neither.
In fact, if this was the first We Will Look Back at You project, I probably wouldn't have gone to this.
This is
I'll be honest.
the thing though, because I was at the club last week, and this guy that I've talked to a couple times came up to me and was telling me, like, because he's into me, and he's like, you know, I don't like how to tell you that I'm like a fan of you, and like I listen to your show and everything, and like it's just so intimidating, the stuff that you talk about, because it's like 10 layers deep, and
we're cloaked in irony.
And so, just to kind of put him at ease, as he was asking what I was listening to right now, I turned him on to this album, be like, hey, just listen to this. It is the key to unlock all 10 of those layers. Just listen to this, and you'll be there with us.
All right.
Shouts out to you if you're listening to this, but who knows?
It's worth mentioning as well. I'm pretty sure with one of the features on this, Skelly Thompson, I'm pretty sure We Will Look Back at You actually featured on their album a while back. So it's kind of a bit of a circle there, but also goes to show that yes, this again still isn't really that out of left field compared to what's probably expected. You know, if you'd come in and only listen to I Am Who I Am, Simon, the original version, which there is people like that, because I've only shown some people that song.
Yes, famously.
And then listen to this. You have a whole like, wait, what the fuck moment on this, but I'll compare this mostly to the Crywing project, because I think that's where it's the comparisons mostly should go. I think my review, and I still stand by it with the Crywing cover album, is that I think it was at that point their best production, which is now dethroned by this personally. But its flaw was that it was just a cover album, and whilst it was good, having listened to the Adore cover, which I thought was a really fantastic cover, mostly the Crywing one was just it was just a bit too repetitive, I guess, of what was going on. It felt very restricted to the point in which they didn't really get to let their creativity shine on it.
It's the transition from like unbridled creativity and just doing whatever the fuck they want to kind of like channeling it and honing it into something more.
Yeah.
And like the cover album was like, maybe this is a little too far, but like also like, you know, it's an experience that's worth trying.
Yeah.
Similar to this, an experience that's worth trying, but I think more successful.
Yeah, well, this concept that they put into it, it's allowed for a lot less restrictions than that Crywing cover album did. And because of that, you're allowed to actually see them try a lot more just ideas in here, whether, you know, and that's always been the beauty of this band, is that they would just throw ideas into it, whether or not it works.
Yeah.
It's not always about what works, it's about what was fun to make.
And like these features that they have, they read like, you ever see one of those like videos of like some guy like telling you like, oh, you're gonna mess with me, you're gonna face the wrath of my gang, and it's just a bunch of cat photos, and he's giving the cats like adorable names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
No, that is the feature list on this. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
we got Sabin, Alex, 2012 Forever, 509 BMG, Zoom True, JKP, Gully Thompson, Lamb, Sleeper, Mr. Bread, and number one, Remy.
Which, for those in Australia listening, not that Remy. It's a different one.
It's the Remy
Also,
that they're telling to read theory, read a book.
Mm-hmm.
I do
I mean,
like that they went for like alternate titles with all of these.
Yeah.
it's one of those albums. I think. Yeah, the more we go into it, the more we're just trying to remember everything that fucking happened. But it's just worth that. It's worth giving it a listen. Start
It
to
is.
finish. It still has some random moments of scrams in there as well, like the opening to "I Ask You Forgive Me," but it does very quickly, stick to the kind of whole cloud rap, mumble rap, whatever genre it is, hyperpop, whatever the fuck you want to call it, vibe going on for it, while still keeping their sound, which is probably not that good of an advertisement if you didn't like "We Will Look Back at You" sound originally. So
It's more
which
polished.
is cry pause. Yeah,
Yes.
it's definitely their best production. I don't think it's as creative as self-titled. I think that was just an album that just start to finish went through so many different fucking things.
You're probably right about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit hard to compare, but it is. I think it is up there with quality. I think a lot of time we need to be going up and saying like, hey, which one of these albums is actually better? But it is in a sense also comparing apples and oranges, which
I
again
prefer
also makes
oranges
it hard
usually.
to compare to. Yeah, that is true. But I don't know
I
which one's
prefer
the orange.
apples.
I like the good citrus.
I've had my my braces break too many times with apples.
I needed braces, but then I broke my face on over the handlebars on my bike, and I didn't need braces anymore.
Pain solves all.
It does.
But it's worth noting that they don't advertise this as like cloud rap or anything on Bandcamp, at least.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's punk, Aussie screamo, bedroom screamo, claustrophobia pop, emo, fifth wave emo, Melbourne.
My favorite genre, Melbourne.
Melbourne versus rap.
Yes.
I'm trying to think my favorites and least favorites of this, and it's a kind of hard one to kind of narrow it down. I'm just gonna try and do it. I think the opener is great. It sets a good kind of tone for what this album's going to actually sound like, and sticks with that, so it works as an opener. I fuck with Everything I See, which is the more slower song off this album, which has that a kind of emotional vocals happening on there as well. Like it feels like it's trying to set this kind of very somber vibe, and it's weird for them to do that with cleaner production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Marches, which I think that was one that they had premiered on FBI radio. I could be remembering wrong. But I like how kind of just glitchy and fast paced. I guess it kind of feels. It feels like video game music in a way. The production on that one happening. And Remy is a fun kind of closer onto it. Even though the joke at the end kind of only really works once.
I like the sudden cut to just talking. I think it's just a fun little.
Yeah.
Oh no, I meant the crash your car if you're driving.
But conceptually, I think it works multiple times. Just you're not as surprised because I was driving when that happened.
Lee's favorite's hard because I actually don't hate a song off this album, which is incredible. There's no like moment where I go, "Oh fuck, that was just too annoying." But that being said, there are there are moments towards the end in which I feel like it does just drag a bit. Like this could probably be a bit shorter if you cut off some of the stuff in the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you cut off
Yeah.
something would be shorter, but more meant you'd still be basically the same album. So I'd probably give it to something like Eternal. Being
Yeah.
my least favorite.
I like the opener, I Ask You Forgive Me. I like Industry Rules. I like Universal Serial Bus. Marches. Remy. My least favorite, again, is, like you said, it's after Footsteps, but before Chill, in that, like, 3-track area of, like, Eternal, Selfish, and Love Me. Somewhere, and that's, like, just my least favorite section overall.
Yeah.
Favorites for me, I'm gonna throw out Chum, along with Chill and Remy, and no real least favorite.
I have a question for you, Trix.
Yes.
Rate this on the scale of kitchen music.
2.
Surely this is their most kitchen music out of all of them.
It is their most kitchen music, but it's a low bar.
Yeah, that's fair.
No offense, Jude and Sholto, who I know were probably listening.
I was more like impressed by the fact that you had the titles ready to go. So I'm like, oh, maybe let's do it in the kitchen, maybe.
And one thing I
did
forgot
listen to it a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot to mention as well is that there is writing credits from Amy on this album as well.
Oh,
I forget which song.
yeah.
I think it's like Headache or something, or maybe even USB. But yeah,
right.
she has writing credits on this. So shout out to Amy as well.
Is that why there's a third person on the cover, maybe?
Potentially. I haven't looked deep into I just assumed it was like them, yeah, but I never looked full deep. Let's see.
Like
no.
Like the cover, like, is still their style, but is also much cleaner looking too.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, what they're doing with that one. That said, the self-titled cover is probably still my favorite.
Yeah. Which one had the writing credit? Was it Headache? No, it wasn't. I can check it. Second to see. It was Marches.
Interesting. Okay.
All right.
Is that the piano one? Is that maybe why?
I think that's got piano in it, but I think most of them do. Or at least have that kind of like, synthy kind of.
I remember one with like a prominent
that
piano
one.
opening. I think it was either Marches or Partisan.
They might be on multiple songs as well, so I don't know.
Fair enough. I listened to this like an hour or two ago. Like not for the first time, but like just like I wish I could remember.
The other thing I forgot to mention is that this album does still fucking flow well as well, which is not surprising. They're self-titled flowed well as well.
Yeah.
Trix, you already listed your stuff, right? Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, so on Spotify, the copyright is 2025 Read Marks.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yes.
Shall we move on to something else?
Yep.
Yes, let's.
I don't really have that much to say about Raccoon. If I'm being real.
Fair enough. I'll take over from here and I'll introduce them. Raccoon is, as I said, the first step on this Dr. Dog journey we're going to go on in this year and probably next year, because there is a lot to Dr. Dog. And I figured it would be good to just kind of start at the beginning. And how more from the beginning can you get that is the band before Dr. Dog? And that is Raccoon. That it is Toby and Keith's first band that, to my knowledge, has released music. And these are just random archives on some dude's YouTube channel that have like 40 views each.
Man, I can't believe we got this Toby Keith album. Actually, 2 of them.
Yes.
I can't believe Dr. Dog was originally an emo band.
Yeah, this is a lot different than standard Dr. Dog.
I can hear it, though.
I can too.
Yeah.
My takeaway from this was like, it's the thing where like if you go to like a bar or like a restaurant and there's like a local band there or something and they're playing that you don't know at all and have no reference for, you'll listen and be like, yeah, that was cool, and then just like never look them up again and never like interact with them again. Just be like, yeah, that was fine.
Unless you're me and we throw them on the podcast in a couple of years.
But like I think the more I listen to the albums, like the less patience I think I have for some of the stuff, because they remind me of that like 90s early 2000s era of rock where I feel like people were getting really like not butthurt that rock wasn't as popular anymore, and we're trying to like show off a little bit more and be like, no, but like listen. But
yeah,
the thought of Joe Bonamassa crossed my mind a couple times.
I don't get that at all myself. And I will say straight off the rip, I think Strange Terrain is the better album.
Yes.
Of these two.
Yes.
Strange Terrain's the second one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with them. Yeah.
I really don't have much else to say in terms of the introduction, but I really enjoyed Strange Terrain. I listened to it today on my walk to work, and it is like a perfect album to like throw on for my walk to work. And yeah.
You know what I just realized about this album, Trix? About both albums, actually. I think this might be a first in my time of listening. It's not a case of I forgot the song titles. It's that I never learned any of them. I just put the albums on, and I never looked at any of the song titles.
I know Court of Oil because Court of Oil is actually probably my favorite song off the everything.
I like how you shout out that before Tables.
I really liked Court of Oil with like the lyrics about trepanning, hole in the head.
I would just mean more so like if you ask me to name a single song, I can't because I forgot to learn it.
Skill issue.
Yeah, kind of actually. That's on me.
I was trying to learn the titles, but like I guess it got to a point where like I kind of don't care enough about these albums to devote myself.
That's fair.
So like I learned.
Yeah, I think
Tables, but
I think this is an interesting album just in the whole in the way that you cover stuff. Though. You love to cover the full history, and it's like okay, well this is what Dr. Dog basically sounded like before they were even Dr.
Absolutely, I respect the hustle.
Yes.
You know, if we go like, are these albums good? Yeah, kinda. Not bad. Not great. I really wouldn't go out of my way to recommend these to people unless they were really a hardcore Dr. Dog fan. But I feel like if you're really a hardcore Dr. Dog fan, you like Tricks and already found it.
Well, I don't exactly think so because again, these have like 40 and 90 views on YouTube.
And like probably 10 of those were at least us.
And all that.
Yes.
It's still it's a fine listen from start to finish, but you know, it's not a great listen without it. It's just a listen. You know, it's got like I said, it's like hey, it's Dr. Dog is an emo band because it's got some of that kind of rough production or kind of like I guess like angstier sounds at times that you'd get in a bunch of those kind of 90s alternative bands.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's not really emo Dr. Dog. I wouldn't really say like, hey, you're into Sunny Day Real Estate, so you'd love Raccoon.
No, I don't think that's quite what,
no.
I don't think that's even what they're going for.
No,
it's not.
I don't think so either.
That said, I think there's something to be said about like reinventing your band, reinventing your brand, reinventing what music you're doing that can really change things and turn it on its head. Like, if Raccoon had continued, I don't think we would be talking about Dr. Dog at all because they wouldn't exist.
Yes.
But I don't think Raccoon would ever reach that height, the way they sound at this time, at least.
No.
So it's good that they kind of redid things and did. I don't know what the story is necessarily between that transition from one to the other, but
I can't find much information on it at all.
well, if they were on the show, we should ask them.
Yeah.
But outside of hearing some Dr. Dog and the Raccoon songs, I don't think there's much here that like kind of tells you that one becomes the other and the other one becomes much more successful.
You can definitely tell that there's the bones of Dr. Dog in here, though.
In a sense, but it's not like it's every bone.
No. Like there's a couple tibias, a femur maybe, a rib or two. Not quite a sternum.
Like I'm listening to this and I'm thinking about Psychedelic Swamp, and Psychedelic Swamp is much more elaborate and like clearer
Yes.
than this.
Well, the next I'm gonna spoil it because we're gonna be going in order. The next album by Dr. Dog we're covering is Toothbrush, which has very similar production, I'll admit, but very different songwriting in a way. It's less on the darker side.
I don't mind the darker side as much. I just feel like the songs and the instrumentation, besides having, like I said, a little bit of that spice to it, still feel kind of like bleh. Like local band does local band things.
Yeah, I get you.
It's shocking to me that this is the band that becomes the band that does Fat Dog, for example. Like that's a great song.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else to say about this album, so don't wait for me.
All right.
Yeah.
I just think this was interesting to cover from a historical standpoint about the
100%.
band, and I think these more exploratory episodes can be a lot of fun, especially when it's kind of establishing a baseline of a big project.
Absolutely. And I respect you for the game. I think you did the right thing by doing this. It's not my taste necessarily, but it was important to do.
Yes.
I've got no favorites or least favorites of either of them because of an obvious reason that I said a bit ago.
I'll shout out Court of Oil as my favorite, and I'll put my least favorite is just kind of the self-titled Raccoon album.
Yeah, I'll kind of agree with that. I would like. The problem is now that I've heard the song so many times that I do not want to hear it anymore, but I'm going to hear it in my head. That fucking table song.
You're gonna get a craving to hear Court of Oil in a couple months. I'm calling it.
Because like the thing I will mention because we haven't said it yet is that the table song is on both albums.
Yes.
And they just did it again with better production for Strange Terrain, which I respect. They clearly cared about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it's not the first band we've covered with something about tables.
It's not the first band we've done that carry songs over between albums to make them sound better either.
No.
But yeah. It's kind of a soup with those.
It's a good soup,
our food analogies for albums.
Yeah. I'd recommend giving it a listen. It was a fun listen. If you like Dr. Dog, it's good to see where they came from.
Yeah. Which then leads us to our last album of the week. Tunng.
Yes, it does.
Love You All Over Again. This was my pick. And like I said last week, I basically just threw a dart at the new releases board and just picked something that seemed interesting. Because the band's name is weird. And I never heard of them. I'm like, oh, okay, English, indie, folky, whatever. Kind of electronic. Let's do it.
And they've been around for a while, apparently.
Yes, 2003 they apparently formed.
Yeah. You know what, Dominic?
Indeed.
This is a really good EP, and then it stretched into an album.
Yeah.
I feel like the first part of this album, like I think this is a very front-loaded album for me. Like everything else to Laundry, I think is it's really nice and calming and it's chill. But then just the second half, it just doesn't do anything else.
See, I think I kind of agree, but Deep Underneath is probably one of the best songs on here.
Yeah.
So I'm just surprised you agree with me with an album being front-loaded. Usually it's the other way. Usually I say album is front loaded, you say it's back loaded.
Most of the songs that I remember are from the front part. Deep Underneath is kind of where it ends. Like Levitate a Little, Knee Keys, and Coat Hangers are kind of just like they're there, they're fine. But like,
Yeah.
where else you get it? Like it's the snails causing trouble. Like really, this album is like, I don't know. I feel like I'm in like Middle Earth, but like nothing is happening. Nothing wrong is happening. I'm just waking up in the morning and making some tea and like looking out my window into a garden.
And 30 sausages.
And like,
well, the good news is that the opening track is in the 2025 cycle. It is a December free release, and that's good because that was the best song off this album.
yeah, it's a really interesting opening. It's kind of a weird song rhythm, I guess. It's a very immediate.
I wouldn't really call it like math rock or anything like that, but it doesn't feel like it's starting off and like purposely having a timing or anything like that. And like, yeah, it feels weird. It's also very chill and calming the whole way.
Yeah,
it's a very lovely track.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I got some like Baby's First to the Middle East vibes from this almost.
This picture of the band, I feel like, explains a lot of it.
Yeah, no, that is Baby's First Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, except they haven't broken up.
No.
Not yet. Baby, this podcast will cause it.
Yeah.
Goodness, I hope not.
I mean, look, when you throw a dart at the dartboard, you have three options. You get a bullseye, you miss the dartboard completely. Or in this case, you've hit it on an okay score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that one of them is named Sam Genders.
I mean, the big worry when you pick stuff on a dartboard from music, though, is that the dartboard is a lot smaller in this analogy. And most of the time when you do it, you really do run the risk of picking an album that's just nothing, nothing memorable or anything from it. But no, this stands out. There is a good sound that this band has on it. I've heard enough bands over the years that have been around for 20 years, and the stuff that they release just sounds generic and still and just forgettable. And I wouldn't call it that. I mean, I think the back end of it is, but there's enough moments on here to make it a passable album, and not just a whole like, oh, it's okay the whole way through. It's good start, okay middle, and okay ending, I guess.
It does enough that it justifies its own existence.
I don't think the production is anything like too unique. Having said all that, but almost that their sound is anything completely like, oh yeah, that sounds like Tunng. Tunng more sounds like a band that sounds like other band, but they don't sound like a ripoff of other bands.
No.
But you said Middle East, and I hadn't even thought of that until this podcast. But you're right. It's like a really chill, even chiller, perhaps, Middle East. Not as sad.
No, definitely not.
More like childlike and more like innocent in a way.
What, you mean Black Death 1349 wasn't an innocent track?
I defer back to the Snails song.
Defer.
Yeah.
Go on. Talk about snails.
Snails.
Where is it?
I've eaten.
It's the fourth track on the album.
Yes, we plant flowers in the spring, hoping they'll come back again. Remember, were you in a muddle? It was the snails causing trouble.
Has anyone else here had escargot?
I'm curious.
I have not.
I want to.
I think it was a pizza topping.
Ooh, okay.
It was interesting.
I like weird pizza toppings. There are toppings I do not want on my pizza, but
let's talk. What's the weirdest pizza topping you'd have? Just aside.
Decide.
Shout
Read
out
this
the
pizza
episode.
topping. Fucking.
I've had
You know,
cucumber as a pizza topping.
I've had a Caesar salad pizza, and that's iceberg lettuce on top.
Part of me wants to
That
say.
sounds like it could be good.
Part of me wants to say that time I had the pizza with arugula on it.
Oh, I fucking love raw arugula on a pizza.
But a forest of it.
You would see me munching through that forest.
But my other option, the one that I did like, was like an egg cracked over the top.
Yeah, I've been trying to find that. I might have to end up making that at work one night.
Because it was good. It's a little runny, but like the egg is good.
I'm just going back into
The
snails.
egg is good.
Just whilst we're on this fucking tangent.
The penis is evil.
I want to take back a bit of the Middle East, just on that song at least, because I don't think that's really a Middle East-esque song. Like I don't think the instrumentation is varied enough really to be that. But
No.
it does have a vibe that it's reminding me of, but I just can't remember what band I'm being fucking reminded of by that. No, it's I guess that describes this album. It's familiar territory.
Familiar, but not like not developed enough to like know exactly what is familiar about it. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's familiar, but it's not a copy.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It's an honest indie folk album. You know, I wouldn't say this is something like, you know, back in the day when we did Low Roar, rest in peace, where, you know, I consider that to be a very, very forgettable indie folk album. And this, it has a lot more going with it than it allows sort of moments to kind of stand out and actually grab your attention, which is hard enough to do in indie folk sometimes. It is a very it's a very popularized genre. You can probably blame Mumford & Sons for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But this is much more calmer than that, much more like introspective than that. I do like a band that has some really good like distinct vocals, like multiple singers.
Yeah, from memory, the female vocals really only kick in on the third track, which what was the fucking name again? I'm sorry, it's Sixes.
Sixes, but Snails as well.
Yeah.
It's more of like supporting than Middle East's ability to just kind of go over what the fuck they want with vocals, but.
Hey, that's a cute album. I don't think Tunng's a band that I feel really interested in exploring further. I think
not necessarily.
If I randomly hear one of them and it sounds completely different, you know, I have no prior context of Tunng going into this. And anytime you go into a band that's been around for 20 years and your first listen is their new album, that is always a fucking gamble.
That said, it is. Apparently one of their most well-known singles is a Block Party cover.
Which one's that?
The Pioneers.
Ah. Did not expect that one. I mean, I guess they've been around for
a while.
For a while,
yeah, over 20 years.
Yeah, so I don't feel like it's a band that I feel like we need to do that full deep dive of the full love in, but yeah,
it's a nice stop.
Yeah, it's a nice check out. It's a nice. I think there are people who are probably big fans of this band out there, and I think it's valid. I don't think this is one of those ones where I could go and just say like, oh, how could you like them? They're just a generic version of this. It's like, it's nice. I could see myself if I had listened to them back in the day, like being fully in love with their stuff. But
yeah,
looking at their listens and streams, I don't think much people were really listening to them back in the day. So good credit for them to still be sticking around after all that time. So, especially post-COVID times.
It's just one of those things where like when I'm trying to do something like this, especially now versus maybe sometimes in the past, I'm just like, what seems interesting to me? What name draws attention? What title draws attention? Right? And so something like Tunng is like, oh, that's a weird name. And I feel like that is maybe more successful than trying to like plot out my unknown choices a little bit more. Like, oh, Trixie Mattel has an album out. Let's try that. This is a little more
Now,
risky, but
I've got to
honest.
do like a little side here, just a complete irrelevant rant here, or not
Do
really
it.
a rant, just a talk. Spanish Love Songs has just announced a European UK tour. Do you know who's opening?
Is it
Origami Angel.
Tongues?
It's Carly Marcy.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh,
This is the
wow.
second time they've done this.
Yeah, doing it on the European tour.
Yes.
Fucking good on them.
Like I said,
Hell
the
yeah.
first time I heard about Spanish Love Songs was when Kali Masi toured with them in Europe years ago.
Mm.
So that's awesome that they're doing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing it in October. Anyway, that was just a side because I just noticed that.
I mean, fuck it. If Spanish Love Songs can use their platform as it's a more well-known band now versus 2017 to give Kali Masi a better platform, do it.
Yeah.
I don't really have a specific least favorite. It's more just the second half in this album, but I think my favorite is the opener, Everything Else.
I will throw. I'm pulling it up as we speak. The track title list. For my favorites, let's go. Come on, load a little quicker. I remember songs, but I don't remember song titles. There we go. Snails. Everything else. And least favorite is Coat Hangers.
I really like Deep Underneath. Snails is memorable for sure. Everything else is really a striking opening.
Did I cut out?
No, you're good. Yeah, but
Okay.
like the end part of like Yee Keys and Coat Hangers, it's probably my least favorite part of the album. That said, I'm looking at the cover and I'm thinking like, is this also familiar because like we're kind of used to covers like this and like because they're eating like hearts and there's like lungs and stuff and it's giving very Home is Where vibes, but also kind of Neutral Milk Hotel vibes. And like
Honestly,
Yeah.
the color scheme of it gave me Hot Water Music vibes.
interesting. Okay.
The sound of the album is not that, but like the actual album art is like it's got a very similar color scheme to some Hot Water Music.
Okay. I'm just curious. Maybe that's why some of it feels familiar.
Okay.
It's just that vibe is there. But yeah, another shorter one this week. But yeah, that's how it goes.
We are busy
Yeah.
people. We listen to music. We talk quick. We leave quick. But
It's
now we're gonna rank
5 in the
these.
morning.
We gotta rank these 4 albums. And honestly, I don't think it's a hard ranking this week.
No.
Except for kind of in the middle of it. I'll go
No.
first. I don't think it's going to be too surprising. I think my least favorite is going to be Raccoon self-titled. Then this is where it's a bit hard going between these two. I think Raccoon's whatever the second album was called.
Strange
I've
Terrain.
forgotten off the top. Strange Terrain. I think I'm going to put that as third, and then I'm going to put Tunng as second. And then just We Will Look Back at You is just number one this week because I genuinely think this one could go into my top 20 at the end of the year.
I'm going
fully
to swap
agree.
your middle two, Ritz, and call it mine.
Oh, well, I agree with Ritz. So subtitle at the bottom, then Strange Terrain, then this Tongue album, and then We'll Look Back at You at top.
We Will Look Back at You gets the universal number one. Jude and Sholto, you can collect your prize at the local post office. Just pick out anything.
Here's a challenge.
It's a bomb.
Jude Sholto, listen to these other albums and see what we're calling you better than. Just reflect on that for a moment.
Yeah. And we're not even going to send you a link.
Yes.
You're just going to find this shit yourself.
Well, I'm going to put the Raccoon links because that's the only way that people can
Good
listen
luck
to that.
finding the raccoon stuff.
But yeah, Tongue's I never remember the fucking album title. Love You All Over Again is pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
I think it also just helps that if you ask me which album sticks out the most in just like what is memorable, it is the We Will Look Back at You.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So, I'll say it here. I am going on a trip. Not on a rocket ship, but I'm going on a trip for a couple weeks, and so I have asked the group to kind of come up with a couple just preloaded weeks of just listening, so I have some stuff to listen to on the road trip. So we're gonna
Yep,
kind of
and
announce.
I've done the next 3.
Yeah, the
Yep.
next 3. Not
I've done the
necessarily
next
that we're
3
going
as
to be the
well.
next 3 episodes for sure, because I might have to skip one depending on what happens.
Mm.
But I think it'd be
Yes,
nice to
and
just kind
I
of get
think
it
we
out
can
there.
figure out a mini-sode.
Calling our shots every once in a while is a fun idea. So,
Yeah.
I will go first. Do you want to do like all 3 each of us, or just like kind of go around the horn?
I assume we're just talking about what we're doing next week. But
Okay.
it's up to you two. I don't really care.
I was we just do
How
all
about
3.
we? How about we go around for our first one,
Okay.
and then do our next 2 weeks?
Sure. Do that. Okay.
Okay.
I'll start. A while ago, I had talked about having this cassette that I bought, I think, in a music store for like years and years ago when I was in college. And I was not sure if they were like a band that had existed outside this cassette. I had transposed I had used like an cassette MP3 recorder to just put it on my laptop and see what I could find. Eventually, I did find the band. I found the album, but I will also, throw in these tracks that we could listen to. The band, as far as I can tell, is just called Gordon. But for some reason, on like Spotify and such, they're called Irving Gordon. But like when you look at it, their Spotify thing has like the biography of Irving Gordon, the composer. So it's a little confused.
Okay.
So I'll drop the
It's just a
album
massive
link.
change.
Yeah. I'll drop the album link, but then I'll upload the cassette tracks to our drive.
Okay. I'll go next. I said that I would digitize a Witch cassette when Domino pulled this out, but I was unable to do that. So I'm actually going to start a new project that I'm gonna try and do over the years. I don't know if you can hear my cat going ape shit.
I'm on
Yeah, he is full blown cannonball sprinting around my apartment.
Good kitty.
But yeah, I'm starting another project, and I want to cover a band from every country in the world, every country, every continent, everything.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, based. Yeah, that's based.
And so I started with one that I knew we were going to talk about eventually because they shared a Spotify page with another artist we covered, Witch. We are talking about the Zambian band Witch, which is this 70s Zamrock band.
That's
we intend to cause
havoc. Yeah.
Yes. Ritz is already cued in.
Yeah, they actually toured Australia a couple years back.
Really?
Hell yeah.
Did you go see them?
No.
That'd be even funnier if you did.
It would be. But I was going to pick an EP from them, but they didn't have an EP, so I just kind of threw together a playlist of some random songs.
Okay.
And so I have 2 other EPs I'm pulling out, and that is Takbir's self-titled Moroccan hardcore band. And we've covered an artist from Israel before. And so I wanted to try and find like as Palestinian an artist as I could find, and I found this old school Israeli punk band that's kind of detailing the horrors of the Israelis with Diria San's Hit Pack Chut, and that'll be a YouTube link. I've got everything linked up here.
Yeah,
I'll post it all when we have everything released.
I'll need some kind of guidance on how to say that stuff.
I am mispronouncing it, I'm sure.
So I got a question just quickly, Trix, before we go to mine. With you covering every album, is that going to include every country? Is that going to include countries that we've already done? Or
no. We're probably still gonna do that, but I'm gonna try and just hit everyone once. At least.
Alright, well, I will be over the next couple of weeks, and I'm planning on going back to a formula that I had at the start of this podcast. It was I'm going to try and just pick Australian stuff. But that being said, I did say that I wanted to finish off this pack of 3, which I kind of delayed, and I'm not going to be the usual coward that I am and just throw that away. So we're going to do what I'm hoping will be my last international thing for a bit. And we're going to cover Ruff's Rug. And I'm adding on to that since they're an international as well. Cash Only Tony's Demo.
All right.
Okay.
So, Domino, you want to reveal your next 2 weeks' picks?
Yes. All right. Next 2 weeks, I thought it'd be fun to do not like a thematic link, but like 2 somewhat similar, same genre at least kind of things, but kind of like go attach it from different angles. So for the first one, I thought, let's go modern. Let's have our Chappell Roan moment for the year. And so I picked the new Doichi album, Alligator Bites Never Heal, the extended version.
I have to reorganize some of my picks.
Have you ever seen the edits where it's just denials of River to me characters?
No.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
But along with that, I wanted to pick something that we've talked about on this podcast for a very long time. Going back to my goal to do some more 2019 stuff. This came up in the first few episodes, episode 8, I want to say. We're finally doing it. JPEG Mafia's All My Heroes Are Cornballs. That's my other pick.
All right.
Yeah, that is the one JPEG that we've forgotten. We've done from Veteran onwards, and then like we haven't done the last one, but yeah, we didn't do that one.
But
No, we haven't.
We did that. That was the week that God, Back in Black, Better in Black was that album.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Veteran Black.
Oh God.
I picked a number, and it was Thelma Plum.
Yeah, Thelma Plum. That's the artist I'm looking for.
Thelma
Thank you.
Plum.
Yeah.
And this is
Okay.
the album that lost to that, and here we are finally doing it.
All right. My pick for the next week is actually an Australian artist, Ritz.
Oh.
We're going to be doing The Unknowns, East Coast Low.
I'm surprised still. I think it was like, I can't remember when it was, but I think it was very early on. You said you were going to do RMFC, and you never did.
They've been on the list, don't worry. But,
I've heard of the name The Unknowns, but I've never listened to them.
Well, you know a couple of the band members. Not
Probably, yeah.
personally, but you know of them. Because this is the chat's second band.
Oh, that's right.
Interesting. All right.
And then the week after, we're going to do Wu-Tang Clan's Enter the Shaolin extended version.
Okay.
Just casual. Cool.
And I'll post everything right now. Spotify links and everything.
I'll post all my links later. But my next 2 weeks. Next week, back to Australia. Tape-offs, Fort Sensible. Yes, I believe that is a Simpsons reference. And going back to another artist that we covered a while back that has an EP out, Keratin, Death and Rebirth. The week after that, Raccoon City, their new album, Fugue. And then Doris and Esme Sane have a split. Very simple. There's no real build-up to these.
Wait, so
It's just
Raccoon
Australian stuff.
Supremacy.
Trix, what is the Wu-Tang album you're picking?
Enter the 36 Chambers, Shaolin, the 36 Chambers, the extended version. It's linked. The first one, the extended edition.
Oh, the original Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
Yes, I know I butchered it. I linked it. I'm
Okay.
tired. It's 5:26 in the
Because
morning.
Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, I believe,
Yes,
is
I know. It's another one. I'm tired.
because that's the Martin Shkreli album,
Which is also from 2019, I believe.
15, but yeah.
15. Fuck.
But anyway, yes. Okay.
We'll get it done. Everything is linked.
Yes. So that means that for next week, like I said, I'm gonna do Irving Gordon's album Gordon / the cassette tracks, or it's just a band called Gordon with a self-titled. Who knows? Tricks, you did Which We Intend to Cause Havoc, a playlist. Tack Beer self-titled, and Dieter Yassin's Pakchut. I don't know. Trying. And then The Unknowns, East Coast Low was your next pick. And I picked Dochi's Alligator Bites Never Heal extended version. And fucking ads. Ritz chose Tape
next
Off
week,
and Keratin.
Yep.
Well, next week you chose Ruff's Rug and Cash Only Tony's demo, I should say.
Yeah, it is.
And then Tape Off and Keratin the week after that. And then for the third week,
you can worry about that.
You chose Raccoon City's Fugue and Doris and Esmus Sign's Split.
Yep.
And Trix chose Into the Wu-Tang.
Chose something.
And I chose JPEG Mafia for that one. We basically got it.
Yes.
If that didn't make sense to you, it'll make sense eventually. Stay tuned. That's going to be up for Dissonant Waves, though. My name is Dominic. You can catch me online somewhere. Probably editing this podcast, if anything.
Yeah. I've been Trix. You can catch me burning somewhere.
I've been Ritalin. You can't catch me. I'm too fast for you.
And you can catch this podcast on
He's
YouTube.
the Stinky Cheese Man.
Damn straight.
We're on YouTube.
Wait, have you guys? Do you know about the Stinky Cheese Man?
No, I don't.
We're talking about this after the end of the podcast.
Why not now? What's wrong with this?
Fuck it. Put it on the show. Let's go.
Okay, let me find the fucking book title. It was like one of these like anthologies of like fairy tales I had as a kid, and it was like really well painted. Hold up, I'm trying to copy this image.
I'm just fucking checking out the sticky cheese.
Just Google
man.
it. It's but it's a little dude with a cheese wheel for a head and bacon lips.
God, that's disturbing.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the Stinky Cheese Man.
Okay.
What the fuck? And there's a
has
little
olives
cut
for eyes.
Yeah, and someone's cut out some of his head.
Yeah.
Someone did catch him.
But he got
Cheese
away.
ain't born like that. Oh, that's disturbing.
Oh. Yeah, so this podcast is on YouTube. We do post on Twitter still. You have a Blue Sky. Are you updating the Blue Sky at all, Tricks?
I haven't in a minute, but I will start.
I should probably.
We are
get on
lazy
that
at
as
this
well.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for us. I guess also check out Irving Gordon, the composer, if you want, even though he's only tangentially related. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. Come back next week.
Indeed.
Please. We want the listeners.
Please do.
We beg you.